Welcome to another episode on our channel. Ever since Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans' exit from the Avengers franchise, I've kind of gone back in time and looked at figures I may have passed on, but seriously wanted at the time. And this is one of those actually set of figures that I wanted. So I found this used on eBay. This is based on Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It was produced in 2014. Hot Toys came out with this particular set of figures in 2014 as well. So it's used. It didn't come in a Hot Toys mailer, and there is no tape on the box. I'm a happy camper regarding that fact. And it's one of those boxes that opens up just by pulling it up, which I love as well. I wish they would do more of this, actually. There we go. And I love the bigger picture here. That is so cool. Yeah. Wonderful. So there's the first cover. All right. And my gosh, I don't know if this was, even though it was used. No, it must have been displayed. So they just taped the neck things back into place. All right, so I'll get those out in a second. All right, let me look at the hands first. That's usually where I start. So he has two open hands, really open hands. He has two grasping hands. Let me move these over so you can see them. Ta-da. He has two wider gripping hands. They're not really trigger fingers. And one pointing finger hand. That's a first. Oh, that's a first. Sorry. I didn't really plan on saying that. Okay. So lots of hands. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, it was definitely displayed before. So here he is. I've often wondered why the pictures were always like this, and it's because of the padding. The tightness of the outfit just will not allow you to get them to kind of lay on the side nice and straight. Yeah. But it is a cool looking uniform. It's very different from all the other uniforms he's had in the past. And it's a darker shade of blue. And of course it has more stripes along the side and the star in the middle. Yeah. So that's a good likeness of him as well. But this is the one that really had an attraction for me, this particular figure. Yeah. So, and definitely you'll be able to pose this figure very, very, very easily. I mean, he doesn't have the tight-fitting uniform that this one comes with. Yeah. So this is the one out of the two I really, really wanted. He does come with his own hands as well. So let me get them all out. Okay. So he has two grasping hands. There we go. and two kind of semi-open hands. Right? Like this. And he has really, really open hands. Yeah. All right. And he comes with fisted hands on his body. Yeah, those will come off really easy. I'm sure the feet will come off. The plastic on the feet will come off as well. So fisted hands on the body. And a really good lightness of Chris Evans. So, yeah, and same thing is true with the one with the uniform, fisted hands on the body. All right. So we'll pause. Well, let me see what else is in here. Wristbands. Wrist connectors for each figure. Extra set. And, oh yeah, okay. It comes with a helmet. So if you wanted to, you can see the A on there, yeah. Maybe better against my skin again instead of my blue shirt. Yeah, so if you wanted to switch out the heads, and put this head on this guy, he could be carrying his helmet in either hand. Just gives you more options. Let me see what else we have in here. So we have one more level to go. So here is where you have both stands, one with Steve Rodgers. Yeah, Captain America. And one with Captain America. What does it say? Stealth strike suit. So yeah, those two stands, two of these. All right. And I think these were like handcuffs, magnetic, in an elevator. I seem to recall a scene like that. And two different shields. So these shields are blue, which I thought was a nice change of pace from the red. And this one is definitely worn. So hints of red on it and blue in the center. All right. So what we'll do is try to get these two guys up on their stands. So we'll pause now and kind of figure out what hands to use. And if they look good with the shields, we'll put them in a particular pose. We are back, and I've had so many problems with this particular figure. The other one I love immensely, but this one is quite a challenge. I don't know if you can notice this, but his arms are naturally rounded, so it looks unnatural. You can try to bend the arms. It doesn't improve the overall look because they're rounded, And then when you look at the lower body with this line kind of going like this, it looks like he's knock-kneed. And it looks like with the cargo pockets here, he has saddlebags on him. So he really does not look normal to me. And I kept trying to figure out, how can I pose this guy? Can I get him in a running position? Can I do anything to make him look more normal? And the only thing I could come up with that actually, to me, made him look more normal was to put him in a side pose. Turn his body this way. Have his head turn this way. And his hand out a little bit. So he's kind of looking back. that's my solution. It's not a great solution, but it's the only one that seems to work for me. But when you look at them from the front side again, it's a little bit better than what it was, but we still have these, and a little knock-kneed here again. Saddlebags and knock-kneed. And then the arms again, where they're just kind of like, I can't relax my arms so they look normal. But like I said, this is the pose that at least he looks, to me, much more normal this way. The other thing that struck me as I was putting him together was that the sleeves are so low and so tight. It's very difficult to get the hands on to the pegs, the wrist pegs. I mean, exceptionally difficult, more difficult than any figure I've ever tried to put together. So when I tried to switch out the hands, it was hugely challenging to get these hands on. I had to use a lot of hot water to get these hands on, let me tell you. So I am definitely not impressed with this particular figure. I don't know if anyone has any other recommendations, but that padding in there is really interfering with the ability to pose him in a way that makes him look normal. So you hide him, basically. It is a unique pose. We don't normally do this with our figures, to have a side pose. But for me, this is the pose that's going to be the one that works. And maybe the only one that works, unless you take the padding out, somehow reduce the thickness of the cargo pockets and get that stripe to look, I don't know how you could even, I'm baffled, absolutely baffled. But this is the pose that works for me. So we'll pause. We'll at least get a close-up of him this way. So we'll pause, get a close-up of him from here on up, and then get a close-up of his face, and then we'll get the other figure out and get him front and center, because he looks a lot better, and he's definitely much more manageable in terms of articulation. From this angle, he looks wonderful, I think. The other thing I noticed is when you kind of look at the uniform, the color of the uniform compared to the helmet, this is a lighter blue, this is a darker blue. The helmet is more in tune with the coloring of the shield. So a pose like this looks a lot better from that perspective as well. But this is a good pose, this one here. I just really can't figure out any other way to pose him. This is a perfectly wonderful head sculpt. I think it does capture Chris Evans very nicely, Captain America. It's just the body that just seems off in so many ways. I've never seen a figure like this that has been so challenging to find a pose, just one pose that would work. And this is the one pose that I think works with this figure. As much as I'm kind of disheartened with the other figure, I am thrilled with this one. This is the figure I really wanted anyway. But he is so mobile, so poseable. The clothing looks fantastic. You can even put the helmet somewhere where it's visible. I just think this is a great figure. And we don't have much in terms of accessories other than the shield and hands. but that's to be expected with Captain America. So I love this figure. The head sculpt is amazing too. So we'll put him on a turn tray and get a look at him from different angles. We are back, and here he is in more civilian attire. His shield has been through a lot. There is a shadow on his face due to the shield being up in front of him. But it's a tremendous pose, I think. Let's just kind of go around. We see the battle-worn shield. We see the helmet down here. The jeans are wonderful. The boots are just fantastic. The jacket, the shirt, everything nice. Love the tailoring of the clothes. That open hand, I love it. And here comes that shadow back into play. Yeah. So we'll pause now and get a close-up from here on up. And then maybe I'll move the shield down so we don't have the shadow so you can get a better look at his face. Here he is, and we'll go around again. You can get some more details. In terms of the shield, you can see how battle-worn it is. But I love that look. That jacket is nice and form-fitting. It's just wonderful. You can see the stitching on the back of his jeans. And again, the shield, he's holding it. That open hand, the belt, and the shadow coming back into view. I think he looks rather fine, though. So I lowered the shield so you could get a better look at his face. The details on his face are absolutely amazing, I think. It does capture Chris Evans. I love this particular figure. With the other figure, I'm probably going to pose him from a side angle. That's my only solution right now. Unless I take a chance and try to take some of the padding out. That will be a challenge because that thing is on there very tightly. Here is one last look at two versions of the Winter Soldier. And this is the only pose I think that will work for me. Him, it's probably very endless, but I like this pose too. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.